Hi everyone. Here I'm going to start topic 5, which is graphing linear equations. So we talked about graphing and using table of values and those graphing that you had the table of values that you just had to graph it and use graphing techniques and those 7 steps. But right now we are just going to talk about graphing linear equations, just lines. Okay, so when I have a relationship between y and x, and just I see y power 1 and x power 1, and I don't see any xy. Okay, and I want to graph that. Because you need to know and you need to have good understanding of lines, and it's very beneficial for you to have good understanding of these before we move on just more harder things in algebra. So I added some topics to this lesson. So in order to make it, if you check online, you can see I changed the order. So I want you to just have a good understanding of this topic. So maybe even it was necessary, I added pictures, I added some definitions, and so I just changed some orders. Okay, so you will see everything now. Okay, so um, in the previous lesson, we saw if we wanted to graph, we use table of values. And so we used to give some values to x, and we have just values of y. X was chosen freely, y was just calculated using the equation that I had. Uh, X is independent, y is dependent to x. So we saw all of those. But when it is a line, and we notice we really don't need to have 5 points. Okay, if we have so maybe I have to zoom here. So if we have just 2 points, we can just connect 2 points, and that's it. That's the just graph of the line, because I know it must be a straight line. So when we have 2 points, that's enough. But in order to be safe side, maybe it's good to have 3 points, because then I can test if I didn't make any mistake. Okay, so this is my just strategy to check. Okay, so if I see, for example, I have a line here, I see this and this, and I check 1 point here. Oh yes, perfect, all of them are just laying on one line, and so it's probably correct. Okay, so as I said, we did table of values before, but right now we are saying that you just need 2 points. So how about I choose something really specific points, but not any points. Okay, so specific points can be x-intercept and y-intercept. Sorry about that. I wanted to just make you highlight it. Okay, so x-intercept and y-intercept. So then you ask, what is x-intercept? What is y-intercept? I have to define it for you. You can see I added a picture from, I think it's Matty's Fun website. So all of these I added all the pictures, and they are not by me. Okay, so I either use a just graphing app, or I use just online websites and math websites, just to add to the lesson. And I really want to make it easier for you to follow and understand, because based on my experience, lines, graphing, um, are a little bit confusing for a student, and you need to follow certain steps to really understand it. Okay, so what does x-intercept mean? What does y-intercept mean? Okay, I can show it on this picture. Look at this graph. Okay, where the graph touches x-axis, that's x-intercept, and where the graph touches y-axis, that's y-intercept. Okay, so what do I notice when about these 2 points? Okay, I notice about these 2 points that when I make a perpendicular line from these 2 points to y-axis, I see y is 0. Oh, okay, I have x value, but y is 0. So for this one, for example, is a and 0, and for this one is b and 0. Okay, A, B are some values on x-axis. Here, if for this function, for this graph, it's positive x-intercept, that's okay. So positive, negative, doesn't matter. It must be on x-axis. But y is 0. Oh, perfect. So maybe I can say, in order to find x-intercept, I can set y equals 0 and find x, because I know I have two variables. I have y equal something multiple x plus something or minus something. Okay, so I cannot find x because I have y in my way. I cannot find y because I have x in my way, and I just have one equation. Okay, so if I can set one of them for 0, I can solve for the other one. Oh, perfect. Yes. Okay, so that's awesome. So I can set y equals 0 and it gives me x-intercept, because I know I look at my graph and I see, yes, x-intercept has y equals 0. How about y-intercept? Okay, so for y-intercept, if I make a perpendicular line on x-axis, I see I touch just x equals 0. Okay, so maybe I can say here I have 0 and, for example, C, for example. Okay, because I don't want to use A and B, because I don't want to say they are the same point. Of course, maybe yes, maybe no, but not necessarily. Okay, so if I want to find y-intercept, I have to solve it for example, for y, but then I have x in my way. But good news, x is 0, so I can substitute x equals 0 and find y. Okay, so and that would be my y-intercept. But when I say that's y-intercept, so the point, okay, so the point, what is the point for y-intercept? The point for y-intercept is, so maybe I can show you. The point of y-intercept is this. So you have to emphasize and you have to show two coordinates, x and y here. Okay, so okay, so it's easy. So it's easy to find x-intercept, y-intercept, and then connect them. That's easy because I have good information, I have a specific points, and also I can connect them. Perfect. Okay, so look at this. I have to mention this here. See, if I show you this way, if I show you y equal ax plus b, okay? So later on you will learn why I call this slope intercept form. Okay, you will see why do I call it. Oh, okay, so if I see y isolated one side and I see ax plus b the other side, this is a slope intercept form. Okay, but if I don't see that, if I see this way, I see ax plus by equals c, then this is not a slope intercept form, this is a standard form. If I see that, okay, ax plus by equals c, both cases I have line because I have y power 1, okay, so okay, y power 1, x power 1, and I have x power 1, y power 1. Yes, in both cases I have line, but one of them is just in form of a slope intercept form and one of them is a standard form. Okay, so if I say I want you to show me a line in this way, a standard form, I mean this. Okay, so ax plus by. Okay, so I can write it here. So ax plus by equals c, and we call this a standard form. The line in a standard form. Okay, so graph 3x plus 2y equals 6. Okay, so it's so I want to go by this method. I want to find 2 points, and those 2 points I want them to be x-intercept, y-intercept. Okay, so for x-intercept I put y equals 0 and find x. Okay, so 3x plus 2 multiple 0 equals 6. Oh, perfect. If I have this form, it's easier for me to find x. Okay, so 3x equals 6 and x is 2. Okay, so the point for y-intercept is 2 and 0. How about y-intercept? So this is x-intercept. How about y-intercept? For y-intercept, I have x equals 0 and find y. Okay, 3 multiple 0 plus 2y equals 6. Okay, and then this is 2y equals 6 and then y is 3, right? Okay, so that point is 0 and 3. Okay, remember y-intercept x is 0, x-intercept y is 0. Okay, so perfect. I have 2 points. Yes, I can connect them. Okay, so I can find them and connect them. Okay, so maybe I do this, and for example, I do this, for example. Okay, I want to find 2. So 2 on here, this is 2, 1, 2, and 3. Yes, it's here, 3. Okay, so then I can just connect these 2 points. This is 0 and 3, so that's maybe I can, this is my y-intercept and this is x-intercept, and I just connect them. Oh, perfect, I graphed it. Okay, good job. Okay, so I can repeat. If I want to graph a line, one way is table of values. Okay, that is also one of the methods. You can give values to x, okay, and find values for y. For example, here I can give x equal -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2, and find y. But you notice it's harder in this case when I have a standard form, because then I have to isolate it, and then I have to solve for it, and okay, so doesn't matter, I can do it, I can still do it, and I can reach to the same line. Okay, and it's more accurate because I have more points. Okay, so that's also one of the method, but this method is just, we call this method, the first method is, which is this one, table of values, and the other method, this method that I'm talking about, is x-intercept, y-intercept method. Okay, so this is the second method of graphing. Okay, so this one is table of values. Still we can use it, it's more accurate, I have more points, but it takes more time. Okay, and maybe I don't really need it, because 2 points is, they are enough for me to graph the line. Okay, so how about here? Again, the same, I want you to do the same thing. Okay, so for x-intercept, you do y equals 0 and find x. So it's 2x minus y equals 0. So x is 1 over 2, which is half. And for this one, I do x equals 0, and then I have minus 2y minus 1 equals 0, and then 2y minus 1, and is y minus half. Okay, so I have 0 and minus half. I have half and 0, right? That's x. Yes, or I can just say 1 over 2. Okay, so for now that we are working with fractions, it's great that I say just 1 over 2. Okay, so this is minus 1 over 2, and that's 1 over 2. Okay, so I don't, because then you want to do a decimal for all of them, and I don't want you to do that, because in this case doesn't matter. It's ending. It just ended, just terminated. But if you have just repeating, for example, you want to round it, and I don't want to see that. Okay, so here the x-intercept is okay, so I have to do that 1 over 2 and 0, and this is 0 and minus 1 over 2. Okay, so now we can graph it. Okay, so here, this is here, and this is here. Okay, so for example, I can say this is minus 1. Okay, so this is 1 over minus 1 over 2, which is in the middle. Like for example, you have one pizza, you have divided by two parts, so you have one of them, so that's half, right? Okay, so and the other one also 1 over 2, so I can say this is 1, so this is in the just half as well. Okay, so I don't need to show it here, so I just, okay, I just connect them. Okay, so done. I just have the line. Okay, that's it, so I just graphed it. Okay, so what else? And for sure you have to show what is the scale. If you don't show me one and just find those points and just connect them, then I ask you, what is this point? Are you sure this is half? Okay, why you are sure? Because you didn't show me the scale. Where is the 1 unit? You have to show me 1 unit, and then I know what's going on here. Okay, so I don't need more information, I just need necessary. I say I want to see steps, and I really want you to show me, but just necessary steps and not more than that. We don't have time for that. Okay, so um before we show you the third method of graphing, we need to know about the slope. Okay, so I need to talk about the slope, and then I go to the other, just to the next one. Okay, so here, so here is good that I just for this video, so I just stop here, and then I am going to continue in the next video, which is going to be for week 6. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you for your time and effort to follow my lesson. So I can write here, just this is video 1. Okay, and done.